Good to see you on this Wednesday morning. Please join me in welcoming the man they call Matt Lee. He is one of Kingston's brightest when it comes to being a real estate broker. And we're talking April stats. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Yeah.
Before we get to the stats, let's take a look at the map here showing what we're talking about when we talk about the Kingston region.
Excellent.
I love this look at the trends over the past 3 years of any given month.
Yeah.
We'll talk about April here.
Yeah, so we're getting into that time where spring is picking up and things are happening and
Getting busy?
Yeah, we are getting busy. Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to see listings come on. People are starting to get a bit of variety. So like, over the last few years, we've talked that like there was really no inventory. We're starting to see a bit of that split. We're starting to see more listings and sales are still happening, but there's a bit of a gap, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first set of numbers we are going to look at right now is number of active listings, looking at the past 3 Aprils.
Yeah, so in 2023, there's 773. So that's our highest number in the past 3 years. If we look at 2021, it was 504. And then last year it dropped to 475. Now, when we were in that spring market earlier, and we say February, March, we actually were down to like high 200s. So that was last year where there really wasn't very much inventory. So if we go from say 475 last year to now we have 775.
A lot of inventory.
We're gaining inventory. People are starting to be able to go and shop and see some houses, which is nice.
Does that affect the next set of stats, which is the number of sales?
Well, I mean, so if you look at 2021 and there was 504 listings, but then there was 546 sales, that's a backwards number. So like that in 2021, we were selling more than there was actually listing, which then drives that price up and there's lack of inventory. So if we jump ahead and we say last year was 383 sales, and now this year is 281, you've got 773 listings, you got 285 sales. Now that's a healthy number. You've got the ability for buyers to go out and look at houses. There's, let's call that 25 to 30% of listings compared to sales. That makes sense.
Does it make sense to say that where we came out of a seller's market the past couple of years, it is now becoming a buyer's market?
I actually think it's more even. I think that there's some houses that are going into multiple offers and they're selling, and people, we do see some houses that are listing on the low side and going into the situation where they're holding offers for 5 days. There are properties that are listing and they're just letting them run. They list them at market value and they carry on that way as well. So I would say that it's a pretty even market right now. So.
Okay, days to sell. It's not going to take you a long time.
No.
However, it is staying on a little longer than they were a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. We actually have, so 2021, 2022 was 7 days because they were holding offers. So you had this, in theory, in general terms, not everyone was doing that, but that was, if you look at 7 days, that makes sense. We are now at 14 days. Now, 14 days is, we've got 2 weeks. Last month it was 3 weeks. It was 21 days. So we're coming out of winter. You're getting busier. You're starting to see these things happening. That days on market is actually shrinking. Even though it looks like it's actually getting longer here, it's getting shorter than it has been in the past couple of months.
The past couple of months.
So we're starting to see that trend starting to like people are out, grass is growing, birds are chirping, people are moving.
Close price to list price ratio has gone down, but it's still high.
Still high. So it was 106.2% in 2021. So the average price was going 6.2% over list price. And then 2022, it was 110% over list price. So now we're back to that normal part where we're looking at it and saying 99.11. So you're actually almost at 100%, but there is negotiation happening. So that kind of tells you that some may be going over asking and some are going under asking. So it depends on the value of the property. This is where the realtor comes into play, where you're saying, what is the value of this property? If you were to come in, what would you price it at? And that makes a big difference.
Okay. And the always important, probably the most important stat that we always talk about every month is the median sale price.
Yeah, so if we look at 2021, it was 540,000. And then 2022, it rose to 650,000. So we had this spike in the year, and we did turn last year. Basically, I would say that we're going to start to see those numbers change next month. May, June of last year really turned back. And if we look at this month, it's 589,900. So if we look at that, since say May or June of last year to now, we have been floating between 550,000 and 600,000 as a median price in relative terms. I mean, December dropped to 517, but if we were to take out, a high one and a low one, we're relatively in this ballpark. We're looking at that. So we seem to be pretty solid in Kingston and the whole surrounding area with that section of numbers.
Okay, final words.
Yeah, I think the market is a healthy market. We're going into spring. We're going to start to see more inventory, more buyers. I think that we're looking at a good spring and summer from what we can see.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.